actually really enjoyed that. Like, it was such a good feeling, like actually like meeting tenants and putting like names to faces or faces to names. It got a bit awkward sometimes where people can't explain their situations because obviously they really want a property. It's like maybe they don't necessarily meet requirements, so like there's stuff like that to deal with. But aside from it all, it was really good experience.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So yesterday I did my very first set of viewings as a managing landlord. And so if you've been watching me for a while now, or at least my last few videos, you'll know that I've said that, you know, from this year forward, I'm going to be taking over self-management of my property. And that's just because when I had it with letting agents last year, I really wasn't pleased with the service that was being provided to me. I thought that I still had, you know, more of a hands-on role than I'd need to if I had my property over with a management company. And as well as that, I just kind of felt like, you know, I was just giving them money just for the sake of it. So I was literally feeling like I was paying them at times just to, you know, transfer the money from my tenant's account into my bank account each month. Now, as I've also mentioned in some of my more recent videos, I've decided that in terms of, you know, finding tenants, I'm going to use the Openrent service called Rent Now to sort of get new tenants in, you know, do the contracts, do the referencing, do all that kind of stuff. And I'm really glad that I've decided to go with Openrent because already I can see how good and how productive it has been using such a service. So from the point that I created my listing up until now, which has not been very long at all, I think a couple of weeks, I've had 73 inquiries. Now that is 73 inquiries from people wanting to view the property because obviously they potentially want to move in. Now that's amazing, and I really wasn't expecting that kind of response. I know people do say that, you know, when you use Openrent you tend to get a good outcome, but I really wasn't expecting those kind of numbers at all. Okay, so now I feel like I'm drifting off topic a little bit, so let's take it back to the viewings yesterday. So yesterday I hosted 9 viewings and I did it between the hours of 4 and 5 p.m. Now, the reason I did that way is because, you know, my property is about an hour away from me, and so really I can't afford to just be showing up at the property when people request a viewing. Like, I can't just be doing the odd viewing here and there. So I thought it would be a lot more efficient to just do like a block viewing or more of an open day type thing, which is exactly what I did. So that's a little tip for you right there. If you're a landlord that's thinking of going into self-management, or maybe you're looking to get into property investment for yourself and you want to be a self-managing landlord, you should definitely look into block booking your viewings if you're somebody that lives a little bit further away from your investment property. And that's just so that you can be a lot more efficient when doing your viewings and basically save yourself time and hassle. So anyway, as I said, the viewings are booked to take place from 4 to 5 p.m. yesterday. And so I decided to get there a little bit earlier, like an hour earlier, just to do a bit of, you know, house prep and a little bit of tidying up. Just because, one, it's a good thing to do anyway if you're going to have a viewing. You want to make sure that you're portraying your house or property in the best light possible. And secondly, I'd had some electrical work done involving wiring done in the property. And so in doing that work, the electrician had left some like dust behind just in terms of the areas that they were working in. And so it was a minor thing, but I just wanted to ensure that I got there in enough time just to do a bit of tidying up to make sure that, again, my property is being seen in the best light possible by prospective tenants. So that's the whole, you know, viewings procedure and preparations out of the way. Now, in terms of the actual viewings itself, it was something I actually really enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed the process, being able to put like faces to names, being able to actually see that, you know, these are the people that may move into my property, being able to get a feel of the kind of people that they are, whether they're trustworthy, whether they are the kind of people that you'd like to move in or not. Like, it was a really good experience, and I'm glad that I was able to get involved in that. As the viewings were all booked from 4 to 5 p.m, you know, some of them came in groups, so I'd have like maybe 2 or 3 people coming to view the property at the same time. And so in that way, I was able to avoid like having to repeat myself too many times, because obviously I'd be speaking to a group at a time, which was good. Whereas some of the tenants came like by themselves, so at the time that they came, like nobody else was around. And so in that situation, I was able to have a lot more like focused conversation with certain individuals, get a better understanding of their situation, and again, get more of an understanding of who they were as individuals, whether they were sort of responsible, what kind of work they did, and things like that. Now, although I absolutely loved the experience yesterday of doing the viewings, being able to meet potential tenants, like putting faces to names, like all that was good. The downside comes when you have to now decide who you're going to progress with in terms of like, you know, allowing to live in your property. Now with Openrent, you're only allowed to sort of reference one person at a time, and so you can only accept one application at a time. And so when I got back home yesterday, it was, you know, a few conversations with family members, like trying to decide on who I was going to progress with initially anyway. And so there was like 3 people that I'd shortlisted. all of them had different situations. You know, one person looks really good on paper, everything was good. There was one where like he'd only just moved over the country recently, you know, income, salary was good, but it's just that in terms of referencing, you know, that may be a bit tricky. And so there's things like that. It's like having the conversations with people, that sort of like your emotions become involved a little bit. And obviously as a landlord, you want to make sure that you take emotion out of things so that you can, you know, work as a business person as you are, because, you know, property management is a business. It's a business like any other, so you need to take it seriously. Okay, so now that I've conducted the viewings, I've shared with you like my experience and personal like feedback in terms of like things to take on board if you want to do like self-management and get tenants in by yourself. Let's talk a little bit about the process afterwards. So last night I did come home, I shortlisted who I was going to progress with first, so that's already in hand. Referencing has begun, and Openrent are just updating me as and when like things change. So they've told me that, you know, they're doing employment checks currently, they've done credit checks, all those kind of things. So it's really good because, you know, they really keep you in the loop. So in terms of the cost associated with doing the referencing via Openrent, is £20 per person. So that is an additional £20 outside of the £49, which is what, you know, the whole Rent Now package costs. In terms of the process and the time it takes to complete the referencing, Openrent have said this service takes like 3 to 5 working days. And so I'm hoping that will be done by the end of this week, because the tenants have proposed that they want to move in next Thursday, which is the 7th of January. So yeah, I'm just waiting to hear back and, you know, let that progress pretty quickly, hopefully. Once the references are complete, then it's on to contract signing, which is essentially, you know, signing the AST agreements. So myself and the tenants will have to sign that. After that, the tenants will then need to pay their deposit as well as the first month's rent. And so Openrent will collect that from the tenants and then send it over to me after 10 days. After that is the exchange of keys. So this is when the tenant moves in. So you go over there, give them the keys. At that point, I'm also going to opt for the Openrent inventory service. So the inventory check is basically when someone comes to check the state of the property, you know, looks at everything, basically, you know, establishes the condition of it, so that, you know, after the tenancy end with tenants, they'll do another checkout report and basically compare the two. And so if there's any issues, you know, tenants have caused any damage, then you can use those reports to sort of identify what the tenants have caused, and then basically take the money that it's going to cost to, you know, repair the damage out of their deposits. So yeah, it's really good for you to do an inventory check, and I'm definitely going to do that. And then at that point, everything is more or less done. Your tenancy is set up and Openrent's job is complete. You can, however, decide to opt in for the rent collection service, so whereby Rent Now collect the rent from your tenants each month and then deposit it into your bank account. And also, if tenants are late with payments, Openrent will also chase them for this. So that's an additional service that you can go for. But aside from that, that is all. That is your tenancy set up, you know, your tenants are in place, and the rest you can just manage by yourself on an ongoing basis. And so yeah, I hope you found this video useful. Please do give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it and found it useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye.